This African school had been abandoned for years. No students, no teachers, no electricity. So when people say the bell still rings at night, the first instinct is to laugh. Old metal win! Stories that grow teeth in the dark. But this bell does not ring randomly. It rings at the exact hour school used to begin. In Ghana, there is a story that refuses to stay in one place. No one gives you a precise location. When asked, people gesture vaguely. Somewhere not far. Somewhere you shouldn't go at night. And almost always, the conversation ends there. Because the rule is simple. If you hear the bell, you are not supposed to follow it. During the day, the school looks ordinary. A neglected compound slowly surrendering to weeds and dust. Cracked windows. A gate that no longer closes properly. The football field has grown uneven, the goalposts leaning like tired men. Children still pass nearby. Adults walk past without stopping. Nothing about it feels dangerous. That changes after midnight. At night, silence behaves differently. It stretches, it sharpens. Sounds do not fade the way they should. They linger. And when something breaks that silence, it feels intentional, as if it waited for you to notice. The bell is not loud. That is what unsettles people most. It does not scream, it calls. A former student agreed to speak about it, but only if his name was not used. He said he recognized the sound immediately. He said, "That bell controlled us. When it rang, you stood up without thinking. Assembly, break, dismissal. You didn't ask questions." Years after the school closed, he was visiting relatives when he heard it again. He said his body reacted before his mind. He sat upright in bed. His feet touched the floor. Then he remembered the school had been abandoned. What disturbed him was not just that the bell rang, but how it rang. The spacing between each strike was wrong, slower than he remembered. Measured. Like someone counting the first time the bell rang. People joked about it the next morning. Someone said it must be children playing a trick. Someone else blamed the wind. No one avoided the area. No one lost sleep. The first warning is always ignored. The second time, the bell rang at the same hour. Same number of strikes. That is when the jokes stopped. People began taking longer routes home at night. Conversations lowered when the school came into view. One man, curious and stubborn, decided to follow the sound. He later told friends he reached the gate just as the ringing stopped. The bell rope was still moving, swinging gently. There were no footsteps, no voices, no sign anyone had been there. After that, logic tried to calm things down. Old structures shift. Metal expands and contracts. Sound carries farther in cool air. These explanations worked briefly. They allowed people to sleep until the third ringing. That night, rain fell hard enough to drown out insects and dogs. No wind strong enough to move hanging metal. No reason for sound to travel far. The bell rang anyway. Longer this time. Not faster. Not frantic. Deliberate. After that night, something changed. People who went looking for the sound never heard it again. Those who stayed indoors said it continued, faint but clear, as if it knew who was listening. One man stopped answering his phone after sunset. He told his brother he no longer trusted sounds at night. Another refused to pass the school even during the day. He said the place felt unfinished. Across West Africa, abandoned schools appear again and again in stories like this. Not homes, not markets, schools. Places where obedience was learned, where fear had rules, where bells decided when you moved and when you stayed still. In Ghana and neighboring countries, there are whispers of a presence tied to that authority. Not a screaming ghost, not a shadow. Something quieter, something that enforces order. Bells are not just objects, they are commands. They do not ask. They? Isumon. Psychologists say the brain fills silence with meaning. That fear sharpens memory. That belief can turn coincidence into pattern. But belief does not synchronize clocks. And fear does not repeat itself with precision. There are no recordings of the bell, no videos, no proof. Sound leaves nothing behind. And stories that leave no evidence cannot be erased. There are details I was asked not to repeat. This is one of them. Some villagers believe the bell no longer rings, not because it stopped, but because it finished calling. They say the bell does not ring for students. It rings for replacements. So if an abandoned school bell rings in the middle of the night, and no one is supposed to be there, ask yourself this: who was expected to arrive? And what happens if someone finally answers the call?